Hi everyone, welcome to today's technique video. I'm trying something new with the audio portion of this, so hopefully you'll give me some feedback and let me know what you like. I am starting off with a piece of Baja Breeze cardstock that I have embossed with my Big Shot and a Cuttlebug embossing folder. Now, in hindsight, using an embossed piece of cardstock probably wasn't the best option to show you this video, or to show you this technique. However, I think in the long run it actually works out. So what I'm doing here is finding the center of my cardstock so that I can figure out where I want my window to be. And what you want to do is you want to decide what size you want your window to be. In this case, I decided I wanted mine to be 2 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. So I've created a chipboard mask or a template that I can use to draw around to give me a guideline of where I'm going to place my window. And now I don't know if you can see, I was trying to show you the lines here. I'm not sure how well that shows up on the video itself. But now once you have your frame, you're going to want to score those lines. And you'll notice that I moved the scoring blade out of the way of my on my cutter here, because I actually prefer to use my bone folder with when I want to score. I think I get a better score, and I don't feel like I'm going to cut the paper nearly as much as I have with the scoring blade that I've used in the past. So I prefer to use my bone folder for all of my scoring. And again, yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but there really is a line there along with all the rest of the embossing going on. Once you have the first frame, now you're going to create the inner frame. And so you need to mark 1/8 of an inch inside the rectangle that you had before. Alright, so now here I've got the rectangle, and then we're going to do the same thing here. You're going to score all of those lines, and I'm using the bone folder again because I like the weight of the score line that I get. And I'm struggling a little bit just because of all the embossing that's already on there. If you don't use an embossed piece to start with, it's going to be much easier to do. So I'd recommend for your first few, don't use cardstock that's already been embossed. Now once you have everything scored, you're going to want to cut the frame open from corner to corner. And I'm going to use an X-Acto knife here. If you're really good with your paper cutter, you can use that as well. Whatever works for you. I'm going to score. Usually I only need to cut. I usually only need to cut about 3 times. But in the case of all this embossing on this cardstock, I found that I had to do, I think 4 on the first cut. Now you've got your window open, so now you need to start folding things back. And so you're going to fold back on the very first score line that you made, the larger one. And then you're going to, once you have that all the way open, you're going to fold inward on the second one. And you can see I actually had a little bit of tearing on my cardstock there from where it was embossed. That didn't happen on the other projects that I've made. So again, the first score line, you fold to the back side of the card front, and then the second score line you're going to fold to the front. Okay, so one valley fold, one mountain fold. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but hopefully it makes sense when you see the video here. Then you just fold the flaps inside, and here I'm just trying to really get that depth, trying to get it really crisp. And so that's where I'm working the sides in like this. And that's what your recessed frame looks like. And now ahead of time I created what I wanted to go in my frame. And in this case I used some flowers that I cut out from Eastern Blooms. And I've got a lot of crystal effects and glitter in the center. I was just checking the fit to make sure I didn't need to trim anything down, because sometimes you'll make your your embellishment that goes on the inside, and that it doesn't quite fit in your frame. So I was checking to make sure that it fit before I put my adhesive on, and then I put it in the window here. And now I'm just going to slide it so that it fits inside, and sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get it in there. And then I'm just trying to attach the adhesive to those triangular flaps that we cut open before. So can you see the dimension on there? That's what I was going for. Anyway, that's what it looks like up close with the embellishment on the inside in the frame. And now what you're going to do is add dimensionals, because the frame is sitting back, so it's sitting back 1/8 of an inch. So you need to add the dimensionals to give it some room before you put it on your card front. And you'll notice here in a second that Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are only a 1/16 of an inch high, so they're actually not thick enough for us to put on our cardstock. So what I'm going to do is double these. So I'm adding another layer, 2 dimensionals to every spot that I put a dimensional on there. If you have some other types of dimensionals that are thicker than that, that are already 1/8 of an inch, you just use one of those and that works just fine. Now I'm going to add on some ribbon here, and I'm using what I like to call the cheater bow. I'm not going to tie it all the way around the cardstock. What I'm just going to do is I've cut, I think this was probably 6 inches of chocolate chip grosgrain ribbon. And just going to figure out kind of where I want it, line it up, put some adhesive on both ends, and then I'll stick it down to the back. And when I do stick this down, I try to leave some room in the ribbon itself. I don't pull it taut because I need some room for my bow, my knot, to go on top of that. So what I was just doing there was removing all of the paper backing from the dimensionals, and I didn't think you wanted to see that again. So all the paper back is gone, and I can now attach this to the front of my Close to Cocoa card, and making sure I'm just getting it on there. Now I've got another piece. This is where the cheater bow comes in. I've got about a 4-inch piece of grosgrain. Normally 4 inches is plenty for me, and I have really big hands to tie a bow, but I think because I was filming this video I was struggling a little bit, so hopefully you'll understand. Cut me a little slack there. But I've got my bow on there the way I want, slide it where I want, fix up the corners a little bit, and there's the recessed window. So I hope that helps, and enjoy, everybody. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thing I forgot to mention is that doing the card, the recessed window, this way allows you to actually put this through the mail. So I hope you enjoy and have fun.